Okay, here we go about linguistics or language learning. And so this is a quick review of the different language learning methods that the YouTube people are promoting and some of their ideas. Okay, I'll take these as I remember them offhand. Let's say Richard's method is very standard academic fare as educational in classes in the university setting or in private language schools. Okay, enough said there. There's a lot. Of course, there's a lot. That's not enough said, but that's enough to talk about for right now because he's not promoting a specific type of regimen. Now, go to Moses. Moses McCormick, who likes to use SCMIL and Teach Yourself, both non-functional books, not creating functional ability. Then he likes to implement his style of using those books and then telling people what to do. Then he wants to do his practice, where he goes out, which is what he likes to call leveling up. It's a neologism. He means practice. He likes to go out and practice and pay a lot of money to go to different convenience stores and restaurants instead of getting a tutor. He's not functional in any of those languages. None. Absolutely none. So if you want to be non-functional, follow that. Okay. We go to Steve Kaufman, whom I've talked about quite a bit. Steve's is a hobby idea. It's a left brain. Someone I heard wrote me an email saying that I didn't understand that it's also right brain. It is not right brain. It is not right brain. It's just, there's no there's no visual, there's no kinesthetic and no visual coming in with the auditory. It's just auditory, which has been tied to translation stuff beforehand. So you may try to wean yourself from the translation, but that is not right brain processing. So he is also a hobbyist. The guy doesn't live in the countries that he's at. It's too slow. He's a hobbyist. He's not functional. It is not functional ability. And I will use something that David Long said about both he and Benny Lewis. David Long, the director of the ALG method in Bangkok, Thailand, had said that both of these guys lose the point, that their only consideration of having ability is to be native-like fluent, which neither Steve nor Benny is trying to accomplish. So they're hobbyists. Now you can be functional and not be fluent, but there's gradations of that, and Benny does try to be functional, and that's one thing he does try to do. His traveling around for 3 months, of course, he's trying to be a travel writer with his angle on it being that he does the languages. Anyway, he is at least trying to be functional. Let's move on then. Mike Campbell. Mike Campbell, who has a lot of reading behind him in a lot of areas, is using a left brain approach also with massive amounts of reading. He's doing it from actual books as opposed to on the internet only, which is good. He's not concentrating though on the functional aspects to begin with. So he does have a lot of things to say that are interesting to listen to because he is at least trying to read some of the literature that's been published on studies and scholarly reviews, that sort of thing. He is, however, not a linguist though, because he doesn't have the academic credentials. So there's quite a few people on here that want to be teachers that don't have educational degrees and don't have an educational background. Yeah, it's that important. Gee, would you send your kid to a school that didn't have credentialed certified teachers? I don't think so. But you want to take information from these people who don't have credentials. Basically, the bottom line on the YouTube people, they don't really have credentials. Now, let's move on to Luca. I don't know what he's doing because he keeps his stuff secret because he's making, well, Moses, Mike Campbell, Steve, and Luca are all selling people language learning stuff right now. Oh, nothing wrong with that, right? Yeah, nothing wrong with that as long as it's been proven to work. And I don't mean anecdotal sort of proving. I talk about empirical study. There's a lot of things that the people don't have on YouTube. They don't have credentials. They haven't proved empirically that their stuff works. They're not functional. And they cannot work with non-scripted languages. So what's the point? Well, over 90% of the world's languages are non-scripted. So if you can obviously work with non-scripted, you can work with scripted languages. Something that Mike Campbell failed to pick up on in one of his videos is that fact, trying to denigrate field linguists, although everything that he is using has come from field linguists at some point in time. Anyway, moving on, let's go. Let's try to remember who else. Well, there's a guy on here who actually does teach you the process of how to learn, and he is a linguist, a PhD, and I don't think he's selling too well because people miss the point about what he's trying to do. He's teaching a meta system, which is great. Instead of the specific language, he's teaching you how to learn any language, which is sort of the same thing I'm doing here, giving out information on all my videos. And that's okay. I've talked to the guy. I obviously know what he's doing because it's field linguistics, part of field linguistics methods. And let's go on. Okay, I'm trying to think who else is big on here. Most people reiterate the products of either. There's getting the wars about the Benny thing. They're getting wars about the Steve thing. They're getting wars about the Moses thing. Of course, none of them have any sort of empirical evidence or citations or even real names. Yeah, you're believable, you're credible with no real name, no real photo. Yeah, that's not credible. And I bring that up because people talking about these methods should at least have the gumption, the backbone, the integrity to have a real name, a real photo, and prove what they say instead of just spouting things off. That goes, yeah, here's a guy, stuff who I do think is good, and I do think he's a good teacher, and I do think he has credentials, and that's Stu Jay. I've said it before. Stu Jay is incredible. He's the best polyglot, multilingual guy on the internet. He has the highest level in the most languages. He's worked as an interpreter. He knows how to teach. He's creating a system right now too. Check him out. Say that I sent you. Basically, the problem is with a lot of people, they don't want to learn Thai. His Thai is phenomenal. There's one other guy that's been in Thailand that's a foreigner who speaks around the same level. He's pretty famous. I can't think of his name right now. He's got his shaved head. I think he's Australian also, I think, or British, one of the two. Anyway, so Stu Jay stuff does work. He's fast. He knows how to teach accelerated learning methods. People want to run all that down. Stuff's been proven, has citations, has worked. He also is functional. He teaches functional usage. The problem is that I was trying to get to before is that a lot of people don't want to know Thai, and that he's mainly using Thai. His Thai is extremely high, of course, and he can do Indonesian, he can do Vietnamese, and he can do Mandarin. Okay. Now, backing up, not taking anything away from Mike Campbell's ability in Mandarin. It's high. It's high as hell. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying the methods that they're proposing for everybody that they're now trying to charge people for. So, that is a review. There's many other people out there I know, but they're usually derivatives of the people I've mentioned, which are basically, most people are left-brained. Most of them are text-based. There's a lot of faults going on here. One, you didn't learn how to read a script until you could already speak a language, that you understood the language. The language is sound and meaning. If you don't understand that first, you're going to be way behind on things. A lot of people talk about this input, but they don't know what this means. They don't know what Krashen was talking about. They don't know about the reliance on Asher's material and what also Terrell said in Natural Approach. Now, moving on from missing that point, they also don't have an idea about being functional. This is the most important thing if you have to be in an environment to be functional. And this is where field linguists have taken over in everything because they can do everything. They know how to learn any language in the world, and they know how to become functional before anyone else. What Steve is doing, for example, is non-functional stuff. You know, it's not what you need to survive because he's not there. It's a hobbyist. They're hobbyists compared to people who are functional. And another test is if their stuff is so good, why does no governmental agency use them? Because one, they're too slow. Number two, they're not functional. That's it. You're too slow and you're not functional. Nobody cares about you. If you want to look for places that are functional, I'll give you a free big hint. Go to schools that teach people in the military, for the government, or missionaries. Those three people have to be functional, so they have to produce results. They have to be goal-oriented. And let's back up just a little bit here on the idea that you can learn alone. A language is not for yourself. A language is to communicate. That's what a language serves for, unless it's a dead language. Then you can use, okay, I forgot about Arguelles. You can use Arguelles' method also, which is very strong for dead languages, which is what he was working from, the model that he was, paradigm that he's working from in the past. So you can use Arguelles' method. Now, the shadowing has been done in a higher form, actually, in field linguistics for quite a while, but that is not a bad move, actually. So there's that. What I want you to take away is the fact that non-empirical, non-cited, non-proven methods, anecdotal, trying to get people to say, I think it sounds great, it looks this great, that means nothing, okay? What are the proven results? What has been tested against? How many governmental agencies or people that have to produce results use that sort of method? Look at the methods that they do use. Why? Because they work. Also, you need a real person. You need to talk to real people. You cannot start overlaying your L1 onto L2 trying to read script first, okay? There's a lot of things I could talk about here, but I'm not going to give out all that information because I'm beginning to think I'm going to do what they've been doing at a higher level, obviously. Use a functional, because they're not, none of these people other than Stu Jay, no one but Stu Jay is using a functional approach. So if you can't follow what I'm saying, your cognitive abilities are not high enough to really discuss or take part in a conversation at this level of complexity. If you cannot, then you shouldn't be making comments, okay? Once again, I should have said this at the beginning, real name, real photo to post on these on my videos and this channel, because one, I don't care about you if you don't have the backbone, integrity, spine, or the guts to say who you really are. And if you think that's too bad and that's not how the internet works, then go into hiding, get off the internet and go away, because there's a higher standard here, and if you can't abide by a higher standard, I don't want you around. I want you out. Don't make troll accounts. I ban you in this 1 second nowadays. I don't even put up with it. So if you cannot follow that, if you cannot try to become a higher level, aspire for more than your low-level basement internet warrior crap going on that you talk about, then don't come here. And if you think that that's a rant, that's a description of what the people do. Okay? So go to their sites. Stay with Steve. Stay with Moses. Stay with Benny. He'll censor you too. Go to them. Bother them, okay? Because they love that sort of attention. It makes them feel important because they don't have the credentials.